Self-promo is hard. So, since I've noticed over time that people tend to talk to me about my t-shirts, we've updated. JT and I both now have t-shirts that say, "Ask me about my book, published author." And I hope this may lead to some engagement with people when we're just out and about. JT is at Comma Coffee right now, and he's wearing his version. He's also taken along the book brochures that I have created. So it has a QR code on it. That way people can see what our books are. And if they're interested, they can just click on the QR code and go to the bookstore. So we are now walking billboards. This is just the latest and greatest kooky idea I've had to try to promote us, because I've gone into great deal previously about how even when we're doing book events, sometimes people don't realize that we actually wrote the books. So I'm hoping that by wearing these, they may understand that they are books that we have written, even though we are billing ourselves as Two More Books LLC as a bookstore. We are the authors of the books, and we do have the banner that has our names on it. We don't take the banner to every event because sometimes it's too windy or there are space limitations. So hopefully we'll see how this goes. Did not intend to get one quite this big. It does feel like I'm wearing a walking billboard, so I might have to do some kind of crafty thing to take it in a little bit. It's the size of a dress, and I could wear it as a nightshirt, but I'm not going to. So that is the latest random self-promo idea I've come up with. As you can see, I'm doing something a little different today. I'm standing in front of my fireplace, which is fun. We don't actually light the fireplace. It is a gas insert, and I've always felt very uncomfortable about it. So I'm hoping at some point to replace it with an electric version. And if you see any flickering over there, it's a couple of candles that I recently got at the dollar store. So we don't have any windows on this side of the room, and it's very stuffy and dark, which is why I have lights and candles, and I have a Coca-Cola lamp over here. I have our ceiling fan light on, so that's how I'm getting a little bit more light in this area, but just doing something a little different. Also, this clock right here is an antique. It's almost 200 years old at this point. It was created, I think, in the 1840s by Chauncey Jerome in Connecticut. It is a day clock. It should be wound daily. It has weights for the chimes and to basically keep track of the time. The weights got a little tangled up, and we have not had a chance to get them untangled yet. So I have not wound this poor clock in years. It did belong to my husband's family, but this will figure into Battleborn Bride. So if you do read that book at some point, you can come back and watch this video and see what kind of clock I'm talking about. And this is fun because there is a little index card inside that has a history of where the clock came from. Anyway, back to the original topic of discussion, self-promo. I'll let you know if and how this works out. Not only do we have the brochures that we can hand out, but we also have bookmarks that have our QR codes on them, and our business cards do as well now. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible to get people to click on our website, at least look at our books. And like I said, when I go out and about, people will often talk to me about my t-shirts. Let's see, I have one that says, "Not all who wander are lost. Life is good." And it is from University of Nevada, Reno. So it has the Wolfpack logo on it, but it's hidden. It also has a VW bus on it, an old VW bus, like 1960s version. And when we were in Canada, we were at Butchart Gardens on Vancouver Island. And I was waiting in line to get a lunch, I think, and someone started chatting with me about that shirt. When we went antiquing last week in Gardnerville, Minden-Gardnerville area, I don't remember which t-shirt I was wearing, but I was wearing a Lone Pine, California t-shirt that I picked up when we visited Lone Pine, and someone started chatting with me about that. So I thought, we'll give it a shot. what's probably going to happen is that people will get nervous about approaching me for this. We'll see. But I'm hopeful. And like I was saying, I may do a craft thing to make this a little bit smaller for me, or I might get another version and just wear this one as a nightshirt, because we ordered 2 sizes, and the one that I intended to wear, JT actually felt more comfortable with, so I gave it to him. And then when I put this on, I don't mind baggy clothes, but this is a little much even for me. So we'll have to see how that goes. I don't know what I could do with it. I mean, I could try tying it up, and there are different things, but that's not the point of this issue. The point is self-promo. The other thing we're trying to self-promote is that we are now in the top 5 on the America's Favorite Couple competition. This may be our last week, because we're currently sitting at number 4, where we have been for multiple weeks now. We will not advance this time unless we're in either first or second place. First place is guaranteed to get to the semifinals. Second place goes into a wild card round. So then whoever wins the wild card round advances to the semifinals. I don't know that we're going to get up another couple levels. It seems like a lot of people have kind of lost interest, both the competitors and people who they are reaching out to. It has been a long competition. I think this is, let's see, we did the top 20, the top 10, the top 15, and now we're the top 5. So it's been about a month. And talking about the same thing over and over for a month, people get tired of it. So even though JT and I are still excited, especially when we got the notification yesterday that we made the top 5, which is exciting, but people are kind of over it. So my plan is to send out notifications to local media to see if we can get more traction that way, to say this is kind of our last chance to stay in the competition. See if our local people will have some civic pride for, people within the community and might want to support us to move forward. But this may be our last hurrah, so we'll see how that goes. And I have a hard time promoting us as America's Favorite Couple, because reading the profiles of all the other competitors, it's been so hard to say that anybody should really be America's Favorite Couple. Each couple has such a worthy story, such a loving story. And I think really it would be great if we could all be America's Favorite Couple, but that's not how competitions work. So I have a struggle promoting us when I know there are people who are hoping to use the money for things like infertility treatment, or to pay off their student loans, or to put a down payment on a house. I mean, there are so many worthy reasons that people could spend that money, worthy things that they could spend that money on. And it really makes it hard for me to say that, oh yeah, we want to, create a podcast studio. Woohoo! It is important to us, but other people might really have more worthy reasons than we do. So I really don't know. I'm going to continue to promote us this week. Again, I don't know how I feel about saying that we should be America's Favorite Couple when there are so many worthy couples out there, and new couples who have been together for many, many years, unique couples, same-sex couples. There are so many different stories in this competition. And if you have been following along and you have voted for us, I recommend that you go. I don't know if there's actually a good way to look up other people. That's the other issue. There doesn't seem to be a central page where you can just go vote for anybody, kind of look through and vote. Basically, what we've been doing is we send out the link to our page. And I kind of wish there was a way for everybody to just kind of scroll like an actual ballot where they actually sent me a survey the other day, and I should have mentioned that, but I didn't think about it at the time. But I think without having the person's direct link, we know a couple that we know, a local couple who we've kind of been talking back and forth about this, and they really haven't been promoting themselves lately. So we've checked out their page, but other than that, it's really hard to find other people. We personally can find out because, and actually this may be the way to do it. If you go to the voting page, it says that we are 4th in our group. So where it says in group beneath fourth place, if you click on that, it should show the other people, at least in our group. So you can look at them that way. And like I said, there are really a lot of very worthy stories going on out there. And I think that's one of the reasons I have so much trouble self-promoting, because as an author, of course, I want people to read my books, but I know we are under time constraints where our budgets are tight. There are many reasons that people may not want to read my particular books. And there are so many other worthwhile authors out there who have spent a lot of time and energy creating works that are also very interesting. Some of them are so good that they just take off and there's a lot of word of mouth. Ours have not. And, that may be because maybe they're just not good enough to do that, or maybe we're just not visible enough. I'm not sure, which is one of the reasons we're doing this. We're trying to increase our visibility, at least locally when we go out and about. We'll see how it works. But I have such a hard time with self-promotion when I think everybody is worthy of achieving their dreams and their goals. And I just have a very hard time. When I was working for the state and I got into a position where I was supervising someone and I had to hire a replacement for that person, I had a hard time because I could see the benefits of a lot of people and I had to try to choose the one that would fit best into our program. And I also felt very bad about the people that we didn't choose to hire. Obviously, there are always going to be people that rub you the wrong way, and you kind of feel like, ooh, I'm relieved that we didn't end up hiring that person. And I feel like the person that we did hire was a very good addition to our program. It was a part-time position. It was a little bit more than half-time so that the person got benefits, but not a lot of people actually wanted to work part-time because, they have to make ends meet. So looking at all of the applications we got, all of the qualifications of the people who applied, it was very hard to choose a person that we thought would fit best. And that's why I have such a hard time with self-promotion, because if you think about everybody in this world, all of our unique stories, even though we're all very similar in some ways, we all do have very unique qualifications based on our experiences and the decisions we've made and the point where we are in our lives. And I think we're all equally worthy to have our ambitions realized, to achieve our goals, to make our dreams come true. So whether it's selling our books or competing in the America's Favorite Couple competition, I'm having a real hard time with self-promo. So I'm hoping this at least will increase visibility, that I will get into some fun conversations with people. I have started asking, when they say, tell me about your book, I will ask, well, what do you enjoy reading? And then based on that, I can describe maybe the books that are closest to what they might like to read, or say that we don't personally write the kind of books that you normally read, but, for this reason, maybe you might like to try it out. So that's kind of my ramble for this morning. I know it's a little bit different that I'm standing and I'm moving around a bit. And I do feel a little bit not uncomfortable, just this feels like an actual billboard. If you are on social media, there has been a post going around because a movie is coming out. I don't remember which production company is doing it, but they have actually gotten a billboard, like up, traditional billboard. It's not digital. They built a room, like a narrow, long room on the billboard, and they have a live person sitting in that billboard. I don't know if they're doing that 24/7, if they're switching people out, but that's how they're promoting their movie. And I don't think I'm ready to go to those lengths. JT and I have talked about putting an ad up on one of the local digital billboards, but that can be very expensive, and we don't know that we'd get a lot of return on that. So buying an inexpensive t-shirt that we will wear around and see if we can strike up some conversations, hand out the brochures that I've created, the bookmarks. JT gave away a proof copy. I don't know if it's a permanent giveaway or if the person's just checking out the book, but he had one of his proofs for I think it was Defying Salvation with him. And one of the baristas at Kama Coffee was interested. So he handed the book to her. Hopefully she'll read it and find it interesting, maybe pass it along to somebody else, chat to somebody else about it. Somebody that JT interacts with on one of the game sites has definitely started talking to her friends and relatives. She shared her books with her husband, then they shared them with friends, and they've gone from one state to another. So we're hopeful that maybe, doing these little bits here and there. Yes, we're giving away the books because when our youngest daughter's in-laws went on a cruise last year around South America, and we gave them several copies of our books that they took to the library on the ship. And those books all disappeared. So we have no idea where in the world they may have ended up. And, we're trying to promote ourselves whenever and wherever possible without spending too much money. So giving away a book, that's the cost of the book to us. Um, you know, not only purchasing the author copy, but the editing and the cover design and all of our time and sweat that we put into it. So that does cost us money. But in a way, it's also free marketing because we're not paying a marketing company. We're not promoting these on social media. We're not paying for billboards. We're buying silly t-shirts. And that's our latest attempt at self-promo. So I just thought I'd chat about that today. It is already getting pretty warm. It is currently a little bit after 10 a.m. and I think we're already in the 80s outside. It was warm when I got up this morning, which is unusual for us because we usually cool down. We can drop 40 degrees from, overnight, basically from the high of the day to the morning low. That didn't really happen last night. I think maybe we got a 20-degree drop, so it's toasty. And our house is going to be gloomy and stuffy. We do have a couple small air conditioners, but it doesn't cover the entire house. And, who knows how the next few days are going to go. We haven't really broken 100, I don't think. I think we've been in the mid to upper 90s, which is maybe where we're going to be today. But even so, if we can't air out the house in the morning, it can get very stuffy. So time to hunker down. There may be some afternoon siestas because it was so warm last night. I didn't sleep well. I don't think JT did either. And we have decided that if we need to, we're going to nap because we can. We're retired. That's one of the things I looked forward to when I was working a day job was when I had that post-lunch low and it was really hard to stay awake at my desk. I was like, when I'm retired, I can take a nap whenever I want. And then, of course, I'm retired and I'm like, well, I have so many things I want to do. I don't want to nap now. But every once in a while I do. I did a couple days ago and it was really nice. Didn't get a lot done, but boy, that was a great nap. Anyway, my discussion today was mainly about self-promotion, about this silly new idea we have to help promote our books, hopefully. We'll see if it works in our local area. We can wear them when we're traveling. We just keep trying things here and there. And like I said, it is hard to self-promote when there are so many people trying to do what we're doing. Like I said, budgets are tight right now. And there are a lot of people who are so overwhelmed with the information overload we have going on in the world that they aren't really reading much. So it kind of feels like there's not really a good opportunity to self-promote. So we're hoping if we can strike up a conversation, it will be a little bit more natural that way. So we'll try this out for a while. I'll keep you posted on whether or not it works. Also, probably for the next week, I will be talking quite a bit about the America's Favorite Cuppa competition. I don't know that we're going to get past this round. And if that's the case, then that's fine. I think the top 5 is awesome. And we have had a month to talk about this. I haven't really pushed it daily because I do realize that people got tired of it pretty quickly. So I'm hoping that at least for this week, you will grant me a little of your patience as we play around with different ideas. JT actually has some ideas on how we can do self-promotion for that this week. And if we advance beyond this round, that would be awesome. If not, we'll be happy with whoever does finally end up winning. I have heard rumors that some people are really not following the rules. I don't know if they will end up being disqualified, but We can vote for ourselves once a day, the free vote. We are not technically supposed to donate in our own name. So I have heard that people may have spent thousands of dollars doing that, which is not cool. But, then if someone like that ends up winning, I may be a little irritated because they haven't been playing by the rules. I do realize it's meant to be a fundraiser, so I should be happy that the money is going to charity, but I also feel like it's not cool to try to cheat everybody who's trying to play along by the rules. So again, I'm having mixed emotions about trying to promote us as America's favorite couple, but I will continue to do so for at least the next week, and then that may be the end of that. So we'll see how it goes. But I hope you're having a wonderful day where you are. It is Friday, August 7th, 2026, as I record this. The kids, not in our county, but in the county to the north of us, like my grandkids, are going back to school on Monday already. So if you are in that position, I hope your kids are going to have a wonderful weekend, a great last couple of days of summer break before going back to school, and that the weather isn't too warm or cold, depending which hemisphere you live in. But in the meantime, I thank you for joining me, and I will chat with you again tomorrow. I'm Cassidy Carson, and this is The Life of a Writer. Take care.